Oh, come on! It would work great with the theme of today's show. Why can't you let me have this one? Not even Morty? Bah, you're no fun.
Are you ready?
I'm just Jim. Welcome to... Hang on. This is our 24th episode, but only second episode of season 2. How are we numbering these? Yeah, I guess we have to because it sounds dumb always saying season. Plus, bigger numbers look better. As I was saying, welcome to episode 24 of the Fantasy Football Monsters. The name's Von Murder, and I'm here to get medieval on all your asses. And since I was alive then, I know what that really means. This here, well, is Jimmy.
Wow, thanks for that overwhelming introduction. I'm completely blown away. You better start showing me some RESPECT right now, or you're gonna find out exactly what it means to me.
Hell no. Well, there's at least one guy I don't ever have to worry about busting out into song. Morty.
This is very true. The producer has a hard enough time trying to maintain full consistency in performing my particular vocal talent just in regular speech. There's not a chance in the world I will ever break out into song, which is quite the shame.
No, it's absolutely not. I hate he figured out how to do Jimmy's. Near, far, wherever you are. For the love of God, no! We're having a hard enough time getting subs without you singing. Everyone, please hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and click the notification bell so... Wait, first of all, why do we care if they hit the bell? We're putting these out on Thursday mornings. I don't want to contribute to notification overload. Just come back on Thursdays. Though you should head over to the sports affiliation and hit their sub and notification, because they'll actually have good information you can use before waiver deadlines. Link is in the description. Secondly, can't you make someone else do the pimping? I usually only do commercials in Japan. Fine. Thirdly, why the fuck are we promoting someone else? I don't know shit about this sports affiliation.
Did you not hear? The producer is about to be a contributor of theirs. He's writing an article series called Wacky Fantasy, where he looks at some alternative fantasy football formats that don't get a lot of coverage in other places.
Yeah, even I knew that. You guys forgot something very important. I don't give a fuck. At least that explains why he looks like he got ran over by a truck a few times. Dude, you really need to sleep more.
Well, I can understand why he ain't sleeping. We are right on the edge of a new NFL season, and we just had one of my favorite days of the season. Cut day. There's nothing like watching the sadness and disappointment of someone who thought they were gonna make the roster get cut.
Obviously, you're a fan of Schadenfreude.
Is that some kind of Nazi word?
Even I know what that is. It's German for happiness at the misfortune of others. Basically, it's what we're all about here.
I don't see why the misery of others would be something I should celebrate. I find my pleasure in lifting people up.
We do too. We need you to lift them up so we can knock them down again. It's no fun hitting someone when they're down.
Well, speak for yourself. But yes, cuts are today's theme. I want to know what everyone's biggest surprise cuts were.
My first one, I don't know if it's so much of a surprise as just Arizona doing what Arizona does. Sure, let's trade for Desmond Ritter, then cut him. That makes sense. Keep Clayton Tune, cut Desmond Ritter. You remember Clayton Tune, don't you, Von Murder?
Fuck you. I thought I was safe.
I'd like to look at the Panthers and the curious case of Terrence Marshall Jr. He was a teammate of Jamar Chase's at LSU and in the same draft class. Several people even went so far as to say they thought he was the superior wide receiver.
Well, in fairness, right now it doesn't look like Marshall or Chase are going to be playing week 1. Though Chase for very different reasons.
Let's look in Houston at Noah Brown. I mean, I get it. They have Collins, Diggs, and Dell. So Noah probably wasn't going to carve out too huge of a piece. But here's the fuck thing. They just re-signed him to a $4 million a year contract in the offseason, and $3 million of it was guaranteed.
Don't forget they also have Robert Woods and John Mechie. It was an exceptional wide receiver room.
Yeah, and I play poker from time to time, so I get this. Yeah, the Texans threw $3 million in the pot after the flop because they thought they had something. But after the river, they knew they weren't going to win. It would only cost them $1 million to call, but why? They've got Woods on a much bigger contract, and Mechie is still on a rookie deal, and after his $800,000 guaranteed, he's only an extra $638,000, which, last I checked, is less than $1 million. And he's younger.
What the fuck? When the hell did you guys actually get your shit together? That argument actually made sense.
Well, I know what's up, Snowflake. What confused me was the Browns letting Dante Foreman go. I mean, I kind of understand in general, but Chubb's starting the year on IR and isn't going to play until at least week 5. Feels like Foreman would have been good to roll with for like the first 4 weeks.
I won't argue since Dallas plays them week 1. Speaking of the boys, not a cut, but something I thought was quite curious was them bringing in Dalvin Cook.
I mean, they signed him to the practice squad, which means he can still be signed to another team in the meanwhile. The most he can even be paid while on the practice squad is $20,600 a week. And even if elevated, would likely only be paid at the minimum of 1/17th of $1.21 million, or $71,174.47 for the week.
Cook may not have as much tread on his tires as he used to have, but he's still a 7-year veteran with 4 Pro Bowls and a second-team All-Pro to his resume. And he can be brought up 3 times before they even have to give him a contract. I know he kind of wanted to go to Dallas, but I'm pretty shocked he'd be willing to go for that little.
I would suggest that having Mike Zimmer on staff probably was a major plus, since Cook used to play for Zimmer on the Vikings.
You guys need to let me know in advance when you're gonna say smart shit, so I know not to spend as much time prepping that week.
The last player I want to examine is Mike White. Admittedly, this is not as much of a surprise when the Dolphins let him go, but he's proven to be at least a serviceable backup for Tua, and I would say better than Skylar Thompson, who they kept.
The fact of the matter is, we can question this shit all we want, but unless you're in that locker room, you don't know what the fuck is actually going on. Maybe someone's a little more buddy-buddy with the GM. Or maybe Coach just doesn't like someone else's face. We don't know. I'm sure some of these surprise cuts will sign somewhere else.
And sometimes you can even get something back for a player you're gonna cut. Let's go back to Dallas and look at Peyton Hendershot. He was going to get cut, but instead, Dallas sent him to Kansas City for a conditional 7th round pick. Now, that conditional pick likely won't be shit, or it could be the next Brock Purdy. Either way, the Cowboys got something when they would have gotten nothing.
So the day this episode airs will be NFL kickoff day. We have the Ravens going to Kansas City on Thursday, and strangely enough, the Eagles and the Packers playing in Brazil the next day.
Well, that ain't strange at all. The NFL's learning the more game windows they can have, the more money they will make. Maybe a little weird being week 1, but it also takes a game that would have been on Sunday and moves it into its own slot. We get 6 NFL game windows week 1.
Yeah, ain't life grand? Oh, I'm sorry the NFL didn't consult with you and your wife before making their schedule. Does she think she's even gonna see you again before January? Okay, then shut the fuck up. Don't you have some lame article to write anyway?
So what ended up being the total number of fantasy leagues we are in this year?
Actual leagues, where we're playing in a season long? 28. But hang on. First of all, 13 of those are Fantasy Cares Eliminators and an SFB Underdog League. So we don't do shit with them. One is an absolutely pathetic Dynasty League that we took over this year. Seriously, if we win 3 games all year, I'll be shocked. One is this weird-ass ESPN League where we drafted 7 QBs and 3 wide receivers, and players get eliminated, but there are no waivers or anything, so I think I only have to do shit in some Facebook group. So, 12 redraft leagues that need some kind of maintenance, plus the Dynasty League.
Don't you think that might have been a little bit ambitious? Because I do.
Whatever. Most of them are basically fun or charity leagues. I don't care. I don't have to deal with management. That's the producer's job. Oh dear.
Yes, it looks like you probably have many a sleepless night ahead of you. My condolences.
This doesn't even count the weird apps or any of the other fantasy light games that pop up over the season.
Oh, I'm going to get some popcorn and watch this, because I think it's going to be funny as hell.
Whatever. We'll break the leagues into priority tiers to make sure the most important ones get the most attention. I'm sure we're going to fuck some of them up, especially the IDP Invitational, since we don't know crap about defense here.
Perhaps I can provide assistance in the form of a spreadsheet. I do love a good spreadsheet.
Nerd! Speaking of nerds, the producer already has that covered. I do have one more topic I need to cover today. Trades.
I like trades. That way I can get rid of my crap and get something new and useful.
I believe a well-crafted trade can benefit all parties involved and be an asset for both players.
Sure, later in the season, once there are injuries or possible buy issues, trades can be mutually beneficial. That's fine. I want to discuss the other trades. The ones where people are trying to move around draft picks, or you're giving up multiple pieces of crap to get your star player. Maybe just consider this a PSA. People propose trades because they think it will help them. Unless you're dealing with injuries or buys, if it helps them, it probably doesn't help you. To be honest, I have worn out my reject button on trades. Sometimes I counter, they're seldom accepted because they no longer get the upper hand. It's perfectly fine to reject trades. You don't have to accept or even counter a trade because you don't want to offend them. Normalize rejection. Now, if you want to be the one proposing them, fuck, get what you can. Just be careful if it's countered and make sure that what you're getting still makes sense. Lots of people throw together these 2 or 3 for 1 deals to make it seem like it's even. But unless all those players are going to immediately be good starter upgrades, you still have a roster cap, and in the end, it's more like 1 for 1, and you realize you fucked up.
As always, this advice does not pertain to dynasty leagues, where you can legitimately trade today for tomorrow, and vice versa.
Leagues only have one winner, and your trade partner wants it to be them.
Okay, final thing. It looks like the producer is going to be doing sidecasts for most, if not all, of the NFL games week 1 under his own brand of The Gamers Dome. Stupid fucking name if you ask me, but at least he's not like the rest of the sheep with some screen name with FF thrown in there somewhere. He'll probably be on Twitch and other places. Check the links in the description.
Yeah, fine. I'll tell everyone you don't sound like a fucking trumpet on other shows. You happy?
We gotta bounce. For Jimmy and Morty, I'm Von Murder, and thank God we have real football again. Ha ha!